We're way past big speech time. I want to thank you for the last few months. It's been very special for me. Anybody have anything they want to say?
Yeah. Let's win this and for all the small schools who never had a chance to get here.
Okay.
I want to win for my dad.
Let's win for Coach, who got us here.
Thank you.
With God of heaven, it is all one. To deliver with a great multitude or a small company. For the victory of battle standeth not in the multitude of hosts, but strength cometh from heaven.
And David put his hand in the bag and took out a stone and slung it. And it struck the Philistine on the head, and he fell to the ground. Amen.
Amen.
Somebody check on my vitals. Somebody tell me if my heart is stopped. Maybe I'm in denial, paralyzed from the madness in the dark. Hello, 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 welcome to the freak show. Hello, 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 welcome to the freak show. We're living in pandemonium. We're living in pandemonium. It's about to get crazy, crazy. That's the way we like it. Pandemonium. We're living in pandemonium. Let's go.
What is up, Rio Hondo Prep football fans? You know what time it is. It is time for the CIF Southern Section Division 7 finals between Rio Hondo Prep and the Warren Bears from Downey. We have been counting down this day for a few days now, ever since last week's semifinals, and we're not even quite there yet. First of all, happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there. I think you will enjoy today's show. We decided to release it, rather than Wednesday night on Thanksgiving morning, actually, just to kind of tie in a little symbolism there, just so that we could embrace the many things we have to be thankful for. And I think today on the show, after it's all said and done, we will walk away with full hearts, lots of energy, and just ready to go, ready to attack this game on Friday night. As a fan base, as members of the alumni, as families of our young men, we really have a fun Friday evening ahead of us. And there's so many things to cover tonight. As I'm recording this, a few nights before Thanksgiving morning, truth be told, just trying to make sure we get everything out in a timely manner, as I often do. There's a lot to cover today on the show, and I'll try to walk you through it all step by step. First of all, you know what? This is a true David and Goliath, and Rio has seen it over and over since its inception, really, in the 1960s, on a very different scale, of course. This is the biggest test Rio Hondo has ever faced. And it's really weird to say that coming off of what happened last year. Almost a year to the day, basically, from the Division 9 finals just last year, where the Cares shocked the football world. And that was incredible. We took down a student body of 2,700 students in the CIF finals in Division 9, a single digit division. And yet here we are 1 year later, taking on, for all intents and purposes, a Division 3 team that has nearly or just over 3,600 students in their enrollment. And a program in the Warren Bears that traditionally are one of the top programs in all of Southern California. When you say Warren, one of the reasons I know about Warren, you hear Warren High School, where's that? I personally knew where that was, not just from my officiating days and everything, but I knew, oh man, Warren, they're one of the top programs. They're not quite down in the Long Beach area, but they're kind of, in that hotbed of football outside of like Orange County and maybe out in the IE. And the Warren versus Downey rivalry, you want to talk about rivalry games in Southern California. I mean, that one's right up there. That's right up there with the East LA Classic between Garfield and Roosevelt. This is a traditional Southern California power. And you see that in, the people that they put at the next level. Countless Division I players, great athletes, incredible football players. Again, Division III type of guys. This team was in the Division III championship game just last season. And I know there were some similarities maybe to Santa Monica last year when we were like, well, they played so-and-so who was in the D2 title game or whatever the tie-in was. This is completely different. And it takes nothing away from what our young men did at Santa Monica last year. That was truly a miracle, and we will never forget that night. But what the Cares are being asked to do here on Friday night, November 29th, the day after Thanksgiving. It is an incredibly tall task. And I am not going to diminish that at all here in this show. What is being asked of the Cares is truly an uphill climb. And you know what? I love it. You can sit here and you can complain and mope and we shouldn't be playing in Division 7. We shouldn't be playing a Division 3 school. But man, what an incredible opportunity. What an opportunity to go out there and just let her rip. What if? I mean, I think I speak for the Rio faithful out there that we believe our boys can do this. And man, what if? What if we pull this off? People's heads will explode. And, we have a lot of supporters, a lot of people in the media, a lot of people that are not real Hondo people will say that respect our program. And, oh man, that was a great win. Oh man, I can't believe it. And yet as we've proven time and time again with the great history of Rio football, you look back at 2021, the victory over Charter Oak, that seemed impossible. You look at the entire playoff run of 2023. Heck, the Norwalk loss in 2022. That was unbelievable. That was a D1 player and Ryan McCullough and all freshmen, basically. Nate Curtis, other guys in there too. But the 2023 run, the schools we played, Rio versus Orange, Rio versus Vista Del Lago, Rio versus Santa Monica. And then you fast forward to this year, Rio against Ramona, defending state champ, undefeated. Rio against MLK, the King Wolves. Rio against West Torrance. And yet the Cares have never wavered. And every time, and it's funny because the past few weeks, local media, local people have been, oh yeah, they're going to beat those guys. We're picking them. But then when it comes up to another giant, it's like, oh, that's too tall. That ceiling's too high. Well, I don't want to get too dramatic here, but there is no ceiling up to heaven. And that might be a little deep and a little outrageous. I don't know. But again, we sit here and we always say, Mater Dei and Bishop and St. John Bosco. Those names always come up because those two guys are different animals. Division I, all that stuff. Those are different animals. And so the argument could be made, well, that's the same thing with Warren. Maybe. But you know what? We get to play a game Friday night. We get an opportunity to do something really special. Our boys, our coaches have been working all week. They've been working all year for a moment like this. They knew after winning Division 9 last year, they were not going to be handed any favors. And you know what? It's time to embrace what's going on because you can sit there and pout about the system or say, let's go. Bring it. We got our 120 students to your 3,600. And we'll get to it later. Maybe the Warren coach there and some other people. Oh, it's not that big of a deal. You still get 11 players out there. Well, yeah. Well, I'll flip that around. Yeah. Okay. 11 on 11. Game time. But there are some elements of, I love when people say, oh, they got 122. Oh, they must get a lot of transfers. Or, Real Hondo, they're a bunch of rich kids. And I have nothing against money, by the way. People that make a good living. And I say all the power to them. God bless you. And hey, your money's your money. That's my opinion. But anyway, so we have some people who are well off in this world, in our community. But I would say most of the real guys, most real people, just hardworking people, not your typical, we'll say, private school kids. We got guys, we got studs, we got freaks, if you will, from the intro music there. Just freaks of nature on the football field. Guys that do things differently. And Real Hondo Prep is a different type of place. It's not just spoiled rich kids. It is not a place where we bring in a bunch of Division I recruits. And we've had two Division I recruits in our 55-year history. One just so happens to be playing at Cal Berkeley currently, and we cheer for him each and every week. But yeah, so as far as they bring in recruits. Now, we do bring in kids from, Fontana, Upland, Glendora, Covina, because that's just the Care Youth League program. It's guys just sticking together. And if you don't get it, you don't get it. That's fine. If you want to learn more about it, hey, we'll try to explain it here on the podcast. Or as I challenge everybody, come see Real Hondo to truly understand it. You got to experience it. You just have to. And I know I don't got to tell most of you that, the alumni, the parents, the families and everything, the kids currently playing. But somebody who came to watch us play in person again, he had seen us play before, was Mark Herrera. And Mark Herrera is our guest today. He's probably better well known as Mark the Shark on social media, his kind of personality there. Mark the Shark, he has a ranking system. He's a big fan, a supporter of high school football. He puts rankings out weekly as far as the San Gabriel Valley goes. He has been a contributor on various podcasts and as well as AM Fox Sports Radio on the weekends, kind of giving a SGV, San Gabriel Valley perspective on things at times. He's a guy that loves high school football, also a baseball guy. He works with or I think founded the Shark. I'm sorry, I have it all right here. Founded and coached the California Sharks travel baseball team and currently working with the Covina Baseball Club. So he's a baseball guy, someone that puts a lot of time and effort into that. But as far as football goes, he's been a guy that was involved in the Talking Ball with Buckeye Rob show on Fox Sports Radio, kind of giving that San Gabriel Valley perspective. He's been on various podcasts and things like that where he's contributed, again, just kind of being an eye. You can't go to every game on Friday nights at the San Gabriel Valley, but he tries to keep a watchful eye, and he runs Twitter Spaces, Spaces on Twitter, I should say, where the guys get together and kind of recap Friday nights and things like that. So Mark is a guy that is somebody that knew about Real Hondo, but did not know about Real Hondo. And what's really interesting with Mark is he was actually, the first time he saw Real, I think, we're going to bring him on and talk about all this here before we get to kind of some thoughts on the championship game at Arcadia High School, by the way. If I haven't mentioned that, I really hope we pack that place on Friday. Mark the Shark is our guest today, so we're going to chat with him about Rio football. The first time I think he saw Real Hondo football was in 2021 in the first round matchup against Charter Oak High School. He had a nephew on that team, and I think from that moment, he kind of really kept a watchful eye on Rio from that shocking upset to many people, not necessarily us here at the Charge Keep podcast and the Rio alums everywhere. But he was someone that was like, whoa, what is this here? I've heard of Rio, but what exactly is going on? And then last week, saw Mark at our semifinal game. He came up, said hello. I was thrilled he was there. He said he wanted to see everything in person. And I said, you're going to really like what you have to see here. He said he really liked Care Park, the closeness to it, how tight everything. He says, man, this is a great operation. I said, yeah, you're going to really like everything going on here. And so it was a pleasure to have him, so many other media guys at the game. And then after the game, Mark found me and he just said, Matt, you guys have no ceiling. we talk about it all the time. The physical way you guys play football, the execution, the physicality, people got to stop talking about your size of your enrollment and your kid. You guys play hard, tough football that is unlike anywhere else. So I appreciated that from him. And I asked him, a day or so later, hey, would you come on the podcast and talk about your memories of 2021, your first real home game experience there at Care Park? And, he's a guy you guys have heard as I posted some of the Twitter spaces when these guys would talk about our games. He's been right there at the forefront saying, I'm done betting against Rio Hondo, picking against them, I should say. So I'm going to ask him that. I'm going to give him a little jab here or there about his rankings, the preseason rankings, not having the defending Division IX champions in them in the summer as they came out, and just maybe his thoughts on high school football going forward. I did notice that he's down to a top 7 in the SGV, and those are just the only teams remaining. So I think we're number 2 on that list, behind what is it, Lucerna maybe? Glendora's behind us, even though we're a division higher at 3 there. So maybe we'll pull those up and have some fun with Mark. But I do want to talk a lot about the game Friday night, what's going to happen as far as some of the things behind the scenes that I want you guys to be aware of, and just my excitement for the game. The fact that the Cares are back and that they have an opportunity, as we heard in the intro, though. Yeah, it's cliche, whatever, but it never gets old of running out to battle to slay that giant. Because Rio Hondo, we're never going to have a huge enrollment. We'll probably never have, suit up 100 guys on a football team or whatever. It's just, no matter how many mountains you climb, how many giants you slay, there's always the next one where people are like, well, you couldn't possibly do that one. Ooh, I love that. I hope you guys do too. And I have nothing but respect for, Fred Robledo and Aram Talegian and all these guys in the media who give us, some headlines and speak well of us. And I posted their Twitter Spaces conversation they had earlier in the week, and how this is just too much for Rio to take down a school like Warren in Division 7. And you know what? They have every right to think that. And I didn't post it as like a haha, we told you so thing. I love when people pick against us. I want people to always pick against us. No matter the fact that there are so many people out there that think we can't do something based on our history, it fuels us all. It fuels our fan base. It fuels our players, our coaches. That is when we are at our best. When you think we cannot do something, we love it. More. Give me more of it. So some would say an impossible hill to conquer on Friday night at Arcadia High School. And I would just say, let's go forward and see. Let's grab our swords, grab our slingshots, whatever you want. Let's try to take that hill. Let's see. We don't got to beat them 4 times. We don't got to beat them twice. We just got to beat the Warren Bears 1 time. 48 minutes of high school football. And you know what? They got all kinds of talent. They have a transfer quarterback from, I think, Alabama. I'll confirm all that maybe later in the show here. Some great running backs, great players, big guys. But you know what? We got some dudes too. We got Noah Penninari. We got Nick Curtis, Elijah Gavia, Ivan Tkach, Yannick Diaz, Elias Haar, Zach Burrell. We got some guys. Troy Seto, Andy Zhu, Nathaniel Shine, Caden Holcomb. We got some guys. I hope they're ready for our guys. Because I'll promise you one thing on Friday night. Nobody will play harder. Nobody will play smarter. Nobody will play tougher. And nobody will play with more class than the 11 guys we have on the field at any given moment on Friday night. Hope you guys are ready. I want pandemonium. I want chaos. Our fans, we need an army out there because we are an army of one. We are not just a small school. I can't wait to post that everywhere on Friday. Just a small school. That's the battle cry. Well, you know what? We got generations. We got decades of families, alumnus, former players that are going to be with our guys every step of the way on Friday night. And I just can't wait for it. It's going to be exciting, man. It is going to be exciting. I hope you're ready. It's time to get crazy. We like it crazy. We like the pandemonium. We like throwing the playoff system into absolute chaos. Frustrating a team that is used to rolling over people. And for their body language to speak early on in the game. Who are these guys? How are they doing this? I'm confident in our guys. I really am. And I've been posting all kinds of clips and videos and things to kind of get us all ready for that, because this is the championship game. And I know there's other things possibly after this, state regional, finals, but this is all that matters. We are going all in on the home championship game. I know it's at Arcadia High, but to the challenge, I'm not even going to get fired up about it too much. To the Rio faithful out there, it is up to all of you to fill that place and to bring it, much like we want our boys to bring it. It's going to take every inch, every breath, every degree of fighting spirit, and I can't wait. I can't wait. It is Thanksgiving as this is released. We have so much to be grateful for and thankful for, and I'm thankful for this program. I tell you all the time, it's the first time in my life I truly have felt a calling. I could see it as clear as day, feel it. Other times I've been hesitant on that, and I know this is kind of what I was meant to do and my contribution to this team, and just it's awesome, and I cannot wait. So we'll talk more about the Warren Bears after our guest here on the show give us a little perspective on his first Rio Hondo home experience there at the semifinals last week, as well as what it was like a few years ago with that big upset win. I should mention, by the way, you got to remember that was 4 years ago, the Charter Oak win. And I know not all of our seniors were suited up in that game in 2021 as freshmen, but I think a few of them were. I'm not positive. I didn't have a chance to confirm this. I believe Nate Curtis was in uniform. Not sure about Josh Curtis and Zach Burrell, if they were in uniform there as freshmen. But I don't know. The fact that we had guys on that field suited up anyway, maybe not playing a whole lot, because I think we only played that game with 15 guys who saw action that night, which is another amazing thing. I don't know. There's a little magic there. There's a little, and we've taken on it. Remember the build up to Charter Oak? And it was just like, there's no way Rio can beat these guys. There's no way. This is too much. And that was a really special night. And now we get the Warren Bears, Warren High School in a CIF championship. Oh. Whoever's writing this script, you had to be laughed at many times by bringing this to anybody, because it just doesn't make any sense. But we're thankful for the opportunity. We thank God above. We thank our families. We thank the alumni. We thank this program, Coach Carson, just everybody. Here we go, man. Let's take our swing. Grab your slingshots. Let's go, Rio. I want that place rocking on Friday, and I'll talk to you more about that after our guest here. I'm not sure how long Mark and I are going to go, Mark the Shark, but we're going to chat. And then I have the plan is to talk about the Warren Bears, a little bit about their history, their enrollment, just kind of what to expect from them, their schedule a little bit. And then, we may take, how am I going to say this? We may open up the lines at the end of the show here and take some phone calls from fans, if you will. It is one of the worst, couple of travel days of the year with Tuesday or Wednesday night here, whenever we finish up this pod and get to our phone call segment. But yeah, I thought let's hear from some fans in a fun way here on the Charge to Keep podcast. So I'll be back with the Warren Bears after this quick break. But first, we will chat with our guest of the week, a member of the media, I guess you could say, a football supporter at the high school level, somebody that contributes again and keeps a watchful eye on Rio Hondo, especially since a November night back in 2021. Here he is, our guest of the week, Mark Herrera, better known as Mark the Shark. Okay, joining us this week is a very special guest, Mark Herrera. He is better known as Mark the Shark on social media for his expertise, his spot on rankings and such all throughout the season, all kinds of controversy and things he puts out there. Mark Herrera, Mark the Shark, what's going on? How are you, sir?
Hey Matt, I'm glad to be on with you. I've been a big fan of the show, and it's really an honor to get on with you. Talk San Gabriel Valley football and Rio Hondo Prep football,
Oh, no
and
doubt
what
about it, man. Go ahead.
yeah, and whatever else that comes up.
Hey, I'm sure things will come up. Well, we were just talking off the air, Mark. We've communicated through social media a time or two here. And ironically, however you want to say this, we come to find out I'm a FedEx driver. You're a UPS driver. So it's just kind of like, oh, here we go. We have that similarity going for
Yeah,
us.
yeah, we're competitors on, in the industry. We're competitors in the industry, and we'll see. We were competitors back in 2021.
Yeah, for sure. We got a lot to get to tonight here on the championship finals edition pregame show of the Charge to Keep podcast. And I got to tell you, Mark, we've had great guests all year. You and I have talked a lot through social media here and there, and we finally met in person last week. You, my friend, get the privilege of being the guest on the championship game pregame show. I just want you to know this is a big deal here for Rio Hondo Prep, having a big guest like yourself on the championship pregame show.
Oh, I don't know how big a guest I am, but I appreciate you having me, and I'm really excited, man. It was like really eye opening to be able to get to that game last week, and Rio Hondo Prep was definitely on my bucket list of things I wanted to go see. I wanted to go see the Care Youth Park. I mean, it's only 4.5 miles from my house. It took me 12 minutes to get there, and and I've been by it thousands of times, but to be actually get off. Park, check the whole place out, see the setup there, and the stadium and the visitor side, which had been talked about quite a bit, and I wanted to see it for myself. I thought that was cool, but man, it was just a cool, I posted, just a great high school football experience. And the team Rio Hondo Prep lived up to the hype, man. There's no more there is no more little brother or little RHP anymore, as far as I'm concerned. They can play with anybody in the San Gabriel Valley from what I've seen. I mean, sometimes you have to see it up close. Sometimes you have to see it for yourself. You have to see from the sideline just to see the grit that those boys have and that team has. It's a real pleasure to watch.
Well, it's always been a challenge to people. It's kind of like, hey, for you to truly understand what Rio's about, you got to see us in person, maybe see us in multiple games to kind of see, the consistency, but also the adjustments of things. And yeah, Mark, I'll just challenge you playfully right off the bat. What took so long, man? They were just down the street. What took so long from getting out to Care Park?
You know what? Well, first of all, I mean, a little more backstory on me. I'm a Charter Oak guy. Both my kids, they were. They went through Charter Oak, graduated from Charter Oak. My son just graduated last year in 2024. So every Friday night I had available, I was going, because even before my son was playing, my daughter was cheering. So I was there watching the games there too. So, and then my nephews before them were there also. So any Friday night I was pretty much at the Charter football games. And, and when they weren't playing, I was either working or other stuff. But, I finally made it down and I was really impressed.
Well, let's talk about the semifinal last week since it's the most recent thing, and we'll talk about some other games down the road here. But we came into our first home game, first of all, Mark, after 6 consecutive road games. I mean, no one has been more road battle tested than the Rio Hondo Prep Cares. And I mean, what was kind of your first impression driving up when you walked up to the gates? Talk to me about your whole experience, really, from just walking into the gates, looking around, maybe the people, the sights, the sounds. Care Park and Rio Hondo Prep football in the semifinals.
Right. I pulled into the parking lot and I was kind of nervous because I'm like, I saw there was a car like not moving as you pull in off of Arrow and you pull in and there was a car not moving. I was like, is this the end of the parking lot? And then I guess they just got delayed or something because then that parking was taken up. So you had to drive onto like the dirt part, and then I guess eventually drive farther into grass. Luckily, I was able to get a spot right there by the dugout in the baseball field and parked right there. Well, walked in. Showed my media pass because thanks to Fred Robledo, I have a media pass, and walked right in. And my impressions were, this was what I was going to ask you about. Now, is it It was packed. It was packed. I love the pictures of the players on the side. A lot of Rio Hondo Prep Letterman jackets, as you would ask during the week for the support from the former players and fans. Is it always packed? I mean, is that about how I'm going to see it on a regular Friday, or was it more packed like you'd hope for?
No, no, for sure. It's a valid question, and I do believe that was one of the biggest crowds we've ever had at Care Park. I don't remember the field there being that full of cars before. You credit the West Torrance side; they had some fans as well, and honestly, that was probably I don't know if there's a way to figure this out, but it felt like the biggest crowd. The sideline was full. Obviously, the stands, and we do wish I think in the future we can get some bigger bleachers there to kind of spread things out a little bit, but. If it's not that many people, Mark, it's still a good chunk of that. It's probably, I don't know, 80% of that on a regular night. So because everything's so small and tight and all that, it always feels like there's more people. It feels, this tight knit thing. And so it plays to be kind of a bigger crowd, even if it is a smaller. But I think, last Friday, I mean, I don't know, it seemed like a couple thousand people there for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was it was like standing room only from what I see, especially in the stands and obviously on the visitor side. But it looks kind of cool like that, even from the visitor side. Even though there's not a lot of stands, it was a cool vibe. Like the people had looked like they'd been forewarned. They had their lawn chairs. Some people had their blankets laid out on the grassy area there.
Yeah.
It was a really cool vibe, and it was actually really crowded on the Rio Hondo Prep sideline. So I ended up going to the other sideline just to be able to get some more space because I like to move around and move up and down and get the video from the sideline. So and they were having it was a good vibe over there. Obviously they were into it early. They started to wane a little bit as Rio Hondo Prep started to pull away, but it was kind of cool to get their side. And I even took a couple of video shots of their sidelines, and they were really into it, which I thought was a really cool vibe. I mean, as an away game, you don't get to see that too often, and they probably won't see that again. So I think it was pretty cool. I think they took advantage of it, and they enjoyed their time there. And it was just it was just a great vibe. It was even from the national anthem with the big American flag hanging off the baseball backstop, and yeah, just really cool and just a really cool experience from beginning to end. And I don't want to go too far ahead, but after the game, talking to a lot of the players, coaches, it was really cool. I had a great time. I will definitely be back for sure.
Yeah, not too far for you, definitely. And as the time change and everything, it switches a little bit. Man, you get the sun setting off the Santa Fe Dam and behind the flag there, the purple sky. I mean, it's a pretty cool little environment. I think Care Park, Mark, really kind of, if you look at it big picture of just the venue and the environment, it's kind of sums up Rio. It's kind of like doing as much as you can with what you have, with the size of the environment, the parking, just trying to make it as best you can. Maybe it's not tip top, first class, whatever, D1, this or that, but you try to make it the very best you can. And I think it's kind of symbolic, really, of our football program and doing everything we can with the group and the players that we have on a yearly basis.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely right, and that's exactly what I took from it. Is like this is a perfect small school vibe. I mean, even like there wasn't locker rooms. There basically looked like classrooms that the kids were coming in and out of. They were walking amongst the group when they had to go use the restroom before the game or at halftime, and they're just walking amongst the spectators and the fans and the family. It was cool, man. It was cool. I really had a great time just listening to. I met a couple of guys. I think it was Johnny Rodriguez. He's a big supporter who I've interacted with on Twitter. I got to meet him. Like I said, some of the other coaches and players. So it's really cool small town, almost like I was thinking, small town family vibe.
Yeah, and we definitely we have aspirations of kind of maybe a bigger venue and such. Obviously, it would be nice to host a final at a venue as well. So we'll see what happens in the future. But I will just throw this out there, Mark, as someone who I officiated high school football for 11 years, 07 to 08, I believe it was, and so I've seen it all as far as the San Gabriel Valley goes. I've seen Ahmad, I've seen Charter Oak, Chino Hills, Covina District Field, and so I understand what you mean by it. It is a condensed version for sure, but we really do try to make the most of it because I would challenge anyone out there, such as yourself, other media members, whoever, come check out a Real Hondo home game because it's one of the most unique atmospheres in all of the San Gabriel Valley. I know Bishop Amat gets a lot of publicity and this and that, and I've officiated many games here. They got the In-N-Out truck, and even Amat has a cool vibe with the chairs on the roofs on the other side.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's unique. So someone should do maybe a Mark the Shark thing here. I just thought of this. Top 5, top 10 venues or experiences in the San Gabriel Valley. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I'd be all in for that. Like I said, now that my son's graduated and now I want to try to move around and see different fields every week. I actually really wanted to go to St. Francis because I've heard a lot of good things. I wasn't able to make the St. Francis game a couple weeks back when I had the opportunity, but stuff like that, just stuff places you haven't seen. Like you said, I've been to Amat, super cool vibe. Charter Oak. I'm there all the time, so it's kind of like. Yeah, I've seen that one, but there's so many schools I want to go see. I've like San Gabriel. I hear they have a really cool scene where they enter the field through the stands, which I think is great. You know what I mean? So like stuff like that is that to me, that's what high school football is all about, and I'm all about like hyping up the San Gabriel Valley in general, and stuff like I'm all for that. If matter of fact, I think I might do that. That's a heck of a tip, and I actually think I might do that.
Go for it. Run with it because I'm usually involved at Rio. I mean, I could give you my 2 cents or whatever, but I hopefully Rio Hondo's on that list in some regard. And we'll get some more people out to games and, ranking it all, ranking concessions, ranking the views, whatever. Yeah. It would be a lot of fun. What was I going to say? Okay, here's a question to you. I'm going to throw this out. I didn't prep you for this. Okay. The new district field or the old Covina District Field? I miss the old Covina District Field. So many great memories myself. I don't know what your experiences are, but I don't know. I miss the old one, the no track, the grass field. That's just me.
Yeah, you know what? I'm drawing a blank on the old district field. I know they had to switch around. I like the redo. Like I kind of like the renovated version of it. I think the field itself is great. The kind of the luxury boxes they built up there that they have meeting rooms and stuff like that. I have a bigger issue with Covina District Field is like basically who's running it. I'm not a big fan of who's running Covina District Field or the Covina School District at all. So and I've been pretty vocal about that. But I mean the field itself is great. My kids have played. My son has played there often. The SGV Bowl that went down last year. It was wild, but it was fun. Which I think what kind of got everybody in trouble over there with the field use. But I do like the new version of it. I just wish someone else was running it.
That is a very honest answer. We appreciate that openness here on the Charge to Keep podcast. I want to touch a little bit more on the semifinal last week. When you came to me after the game, Mark, I mean, you found me and you were like, Matt, you guys have no ceiling. And what you were most impressed by, I think, was you mentioned it multiple times, the toughness, the physicality. It was almost like people have you guys all wrong. What was it that you saw, or was it just the overall performance of the guys and the grit that you were basically saying, from what you saw, that we can compete with anyone in the San Gabriel Valley with physically, we can stand up to anybody?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Like I mentioned earlier, sometimes you got to, I saw you guys in 2021, obviously from the stands. I watched the game from the stands, but it was just a difference of being on the field and seeing it up close. And the biggest takeaway I took was yards after contact. That's what kept going off in my head. Yards after contact. I can't probably count on one hand how many times your running backs, whether it was Pinanuri or Curtis or Holcomb, went down on first contact. I mean, they were dragging defenders repeatedly. Just that's what hit me the most. That's why I was so terribly impressed. Like, I mean, it's just that vibe. Like, dude, these kids want it more. They want it more, and it was evident from the initial kickoff that, oh man, these guys are going to be tough to beat at any level. But what actually surprised me, what concerned, because I know you guys have depth issues, is that how are these kids able to make it through the season, as tough as they play? I mean, like, honestly, I remember, like, going back to 2021, you had, it was Jonathan Guerrero and Gio Ortega And I remember there was one play where like Guerrero was just gashing us, right? They were just absolute gashing Charro. I say us with Charro. He like went down for a play. Like he looked injured. I think he had to sit out a play, and it was almost kind of like, oh man, what are they going to do if he can't go? And like 2 plays later, he was back in just gashing the team again. And that's exactly what I saw when last Friday night was just and just taking the will of the other team. That's what you guys are doing, just taking the will and I don't know, I do remember that back from 2020, 21 that you guys were a little unorthodox. You guys went for a lot of fourth downs. It didn't matter where you were on the field, and the play where you think you had it. There was 3 seconds left, and you had it on the 3 yard line, and I'm like, oh, you guys are up by a possession. You guys get the ball second half. Oh, they're gonna kick this. Now what'd you do? They go for it with score with no time remaining. It's just like those are just things that just like take your will. Like yeah, and like I said, I was on the other team of the start line. They were gone. Like after that point, they were just like threw their hands up, like we don't know what to do anymore. They were just the coaches were were arguing and like they had no answer. They had no answer, and especially when you throw in other stuff like that, it's just frustrating for them. And I imagine that's what you do every week to every opponent you play. And it's actually it's really a lot of fun to watch. It really is. So
I think one thing, Mark, that the real kids always have, it's I love when first of all I love when people are like, oh, they have a small school. Okay, there's just a bunch of rich kids, or they recruit. They recruit. Mark, we've had 2 Division I football players in 55 years. There, yes,
Yeah.
we got guys that come from Upland and Glendora and this and that, but that's all the Care Youth League program, and not just anyone can come to Rio. There's a lot of commitments that go into volunteer work and the curriculum, and it's not for everyone, and so that's why a lot of kids have opted not to go there. So I think with Rio Hondo kids, and you mentioned it there with Penaneri and Curtis and Holcomb, the way they run the ball, the way our guys block, you can just feel the ginormous chip on their shoulder as they're playing. Could you see that from the sideline that night?
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. And I think like you said, there's more talented teams and more athletic teams, but you guys knew it seemed to by your play and just your tough, you neutralize all of that. You play in a box. That's what you guys want to do. Like as they say, also you play in a phone booth. And that basically, if you play tight in a phone booth, you take away the athleticism of the other team. I mean, because that quarterback was really good. Eli Brandt, he was a good quarterback. He had good receivers, but you guys played it so tight that it almost nullified their explosiveness. And obviously you keep the ball a lot, so they had less possessions, less reps to work with. I totally noticed it. And it's like I said, I'm running out of like complimentary things to say because it really is just amazing what they do. And I meant it 100% with like they could play what I saw Friday night. They could play with anybody in St. Gabriel Valley. They really could. And like I said, you're right. It took me a while, and you for sure they're going to be in the rankings next year. And I won't make that mistake again. Just like I won't pick against that. I said in our spaces Wednesday night, I'm not gonna even if they're playing Mater Dei, I was gonna have a hard time picking Mater Dei over Real Hard Prep. And I really mean that. That's just how impressed I am with the program, the toughness of those kids, man.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. First things first, one mountain at a time, I guess. But I've said what you got to understand, Mark, what these guys are doing this year, 2023, 21 and 22. What these guys have done is they are embracing the opportunity that so many of our generations over Real Hondo football didn't get the chance at. This has lasted a long time. There's been this buildup where Real Hondo guys, I mean, I played 20 something years ago. We wanted a chance to just give us a chance. Give us 48 minutes to play a local public school. Now, not only are we doing it, we're dominating these teams. We're going out and playing giant schools. It is so cool. And you got to understand something when you tell your story is that this stems from decades of generations of buildup of, oh, you guys are just that small school that plays A-man. Oh, you just play 11-man small school football. There's just been this spark that is just like, and all these guys are carrying the banner for all of us. And it's really special to see because this isn't just something mark that has been the past 2 or 3 years. The Rio Hondo football tradition speaks for itself, and you guys are seeing it, seeing where it can go, maybe can go even further. But yeah, the real football tradition speaks for itself. It's not just some recency bias. This program is special and has lasted, has really stood the test of time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and it was like you said, Merchant. From in 2021, I had no idea where we were on. Well, I mean, I knew because my son, when he was little, he did like played in one of the care basketball leagues with Coach Key. I don't know if you're familiar with Coach Key back in the
Jim
day.
Key, yeah, Coach Key,
Yeah, Coach Key,
course.
Coach Key. Yeah, so he coached my
RHP
son.
legend, from what I hear.
Okay, yeah. So he coached my son in basketball. So he's been part of the care program. So I mean, and then I think I did hear that it was sent people up to Rio Hondo Prep. But I didn't know. I didn't really know where it was. But I remember when it was announced that Charter was going to play Rio Hondo Prep, and of course, everyone started coming out and like, oh, it's small school, Charter will destroy them. They shouldn't even be on the same field. And so I started to be like, okay, well, all right, so cool. Like Charter gets to move on to the next round if this is what we're talking about. And then I get to the field that night, and I see, when they do the early outs, right? It's like you see the early outs, the skill guys, they come out early and they're handling their business. So when I get there, I got there a little bit late, and I was like, oh, hey, it's just the skill guys, the early outs are out there. But no, it turned out that was the whole team. And and I was like, oh man, so it's like I didn't know what to think here. I'm like, what's going to happen here tonight? I mean, because it wasn't Charter Oak's best team. It wasn't their best team. They had some issues that season. They had some unfortunate things happen with the passing of Big Lou and his wife. Also, it was a tough season for them, but still, like competitive, like they were a pretty good team, and they should have been. I guess maybe they probably took it for granted that night, but they came out, Rio Hondo Prep came out, punched them in the mouth, and they just kind of kept it going all night. And even when Charter would score, they would come right back. I think what changed the game was, I'm sure you remember, was the Gio Ortega kickoff return for a touchdown.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That you mean that to me that was the turning point in the game, because Charter Oak, I think they just answered, and I think they went and scored again. And we're like, okay, maybe we'll pull away. But Gio Ortega took that thing back for a touchdown, and Rio Hondo Prep never looked back. And it was that was the game changer to me. That, in my opinion, that night. And and then the rest of them, they just kept putting back. And every time they needed to play, they found Ryan McCulloch somehow. They got him the ball, right? And it was like, he was one of the D1 guys, I assume, right? He went to Cal.
Yes, yeah. Ryan doing good things at Cal, and he felt like the best player on the field that night.
Yeah, and he was like you said. Every time they needed a play, and obviously they went for it. Anytime they were close to midfield, they were going for it, and that was just frustrating. And even when you thought, okay, Charter, okay, all right, cool, we got to score. We're gonna put it on these guys. They come right back, and they never gave up, and just kept fighting all night, and eventually came out with the win. And I was impressed that night. I think that's when I followed your podcast. I followed you that night, because I was just really impressed. I think Vice Principal Itzka, I think I followed him that night. I was just really impressed with the whole program, and just to see how you guys just keep getting better and better and better. And like we talked about Wednesday night, me and Fred Verbletto, we were always asking, what is the ceiling? What is it? And I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know what is it you think that might be that do you think that could hold them back from just continue to climb? Is there anything that you think is it just enrollment? Is it just depth?
I think depth is always an issue. But I mean, you look at other schools depth wise as well. Like, okay, if a school suits up 70 guys, how many key guys are factors there? You lose your starting running back. Okay, how's your number 2 running back? What Coach Carson jokes about, like, for instance, we went out to play at Martin Luther King, and they got 4 quarterbacks out there throwing warm-up routes. Not just 4 quarterbacks, they have 4 centers with each guy. And he just kind of goes, they got 4 centers? He goes, Matt, our backup center's like our JV fullback. Like, that's how we do things.
Yeah.
So that's just how, I think depth, injuries always matter. We've knock on wood been relatively healthy. And I think that's a tribute to our great conditioning program because that's another thing, Mark. When you come to Rio, what position are you playing? No, no, no. What positions are you playing? We don't play one position, one side of the ball in general. Most guys play both ways. As a matter of fact, that Charter Oak game in 2021, I know you won't love hearing this. We played that game, well, only 11 at a time, of course. Only 15 guys were on the field that night, all night long.
Yeah.
That's one of my funnest stats, most fun stats of that game was 15 human beings saw the field for Rio that night.
Wow.
And a bigger reason why that game
15 tough son of a guns. I'm talking about 15 tough son.
Well, and I mark it, and I'll say this, I'll put it up against anyone. I don't think I kind of thought of it today actually, but when you think of Rio football, I was trying to sum it up to people, just like I think no one's going to play harder, no one's going to play smarter, no one's going to play tougher, and no one's going to play classier. If we do, I think if we always do that, we may lose, but if we do those four things and completely do it better than the other team, we're generally going to have success. And I think that's kind of been a staple really over the past few decades, and most recently, of course, the past few years.
Right. And have you always had that eighth grade team? Has that been them for a long time? So, I mean, are they running that system from that eighth grade team all the way into the high school?
Yeah, the junior high tackle program has lasted a long time. I know it's only recently, the past, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years maybe, where they started kind of this league with Oaks Christian and Chaminade and all that. But before, they used to it kind of was still kind of an 8-man thing in the early 2000s out in the Riverside area, Redlands, with all those kind of small schools, Bloomington Christian and such. Yeah, we've always played, to my knowledge, I will say always, for many, many decades, always played tackle football, in some form or fashion. And especially since we've gone 11-man too in 2002. So yeah, Fred always says it, the only program in the San Gabriel Valley that plays tackle football in junior high.
And it's the same system that you guys are running in high school, at the high school level?
It's the biggest thing, I think, and I know the junior high coach as well, is that the terminology is a big thing, and they're obviously not going to do all the shifting and this
Right.
and that. But it's pretty basic. Hey, here's a blast play. Here's a power play. We'll run a counter or whatever. It's not the whole playbook, obviously, but it's the same terminology and pretty much the same base, the same foundation. And so when you start that in junior high, and even and honestly, Mark, some of these tactics, some of these plays are being run, in on a different level, of course, in youth football. And so the kids hear the same terms all the way for many,
Right.
many years, and that's a huge factor.
Yeah, and that's why it just makes so much sense that why they're so good at execution. It's like that. Like I said, that's where you kind of nullify the athleticism and the depth of other teams by just executing. Do your job. Do your job. Get it done. Play hard. And that's what you guys do. And it's just no surprise to me anymore that with the success they're having. And like I said, they're running the at least the same terminology from the eighth grade moving on up to high school. By the time these kids are sophomores, juniors, seniors, it's like second nature to them, and they execute well. It's like a machine. It's like a well-oiled machine. I'm a Nebraska fan, right? So Nebraska football fan. So like back in the 90s, the 80s, Nebraska was just a machine. They were
Tommy
just a
Frazier,
machine.
Tommy
Right,
Frazier, one of my
Tommy
favorite players
Frazier.
ever. Oh,
Right, those offensive lines, it was just a machine, and that's kind of basically the same thing I see on Rio Hondo. It's just a well-oiled machine.
no, that is a very, very well said. We appreciate that. Yeah, it's funny because Coach Carson comes on we were talking about the pregame show or postgame show, and he was just like, it's funny. People come out thinking they're going to see some type of like gimmick, weird offense, and our offense is very different. But it's line up. We're going to run it there. We're going to counter here. And it's just like,
Yeah.
It's nothing tricky. It's just physicality. It's football. It's blocking and tackling, really, in its core.
Right, execution. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's we're going to out execute you, and like I said, very very few. I don't remember any tackles for loss that I can think. Maybe a couple stops at the line, but there was always a push, and it's not like you guys have the biggest offensive line. So I mean, the push is coming from somewhere. And another thing I was really impressed with is the downfield blocking. Just the downfield blocking. There was always somebody putting a hat on somebody else, and like with urgency.
Mm.
And it was so nice. And then you got speed like Pinanori. I didn't realize he was that fast. He got, when he broke loose on that 60-yard run, man, he was in the blink of an eye, he was in the end zone. So, I mean, you have your own speed. So if any of these guys break loose, I think the schools are going to have a hard time catching them. So they run hard, check. Do they have speed? Check. Do they execute? Check. Um, Geez, what else? A great coaching check. Um, and Coach Carson, like we were talking earlier, I got a chance to meet him. I had met him before. Just such a nice, just a nice guy. He even asked me like, "Oh, what did you think?" Like, "Oh man, what did you think?" And I was giving my honest opinion. That's what I said, dude. Yards after contact, coach. That was the most impressive displays of yards after contact that I've seen. And he was real excited to hear that and told him how great a job they do coaching and not even to mention, like we briefly mentioned the conditioning program, like for all these players for the depth, the lack of depth for them to stay healthy and be out there every week is just a heck of a credit to that strength and conditioning program that we mentioned earlier.
Yeah, it's fun talking about it just because it's you're not surprised anymore, and I think some of the best episodes on the podcast are bringing in non-Rio people, for lack of a better term, that we make believers. We sort of, hey, because I like getting the perspective right from the outside world or competitors or whatever, and so the fans seem to love it. It's kind of like a testament to how we're carrying ourselves, how we're doing things, right? And so it's refreshing to hear and to see that we get some new believers out there like yourself, Mark.
Well, just based on the Wednesday night show we do, and we have Fred Robledo, obviously Tim Peterson. Tim Peterson was out there Friday night as well.
Mm-hmm.
He got to check you guys out. Matt Villasenor, the head coach of Nogales, Maxie, who's the head coach of Bowling Park, and Gabriel Duarte, the up and coming reporter in the area. And we've all just become believers over the season. Like every one of us has picked Rio Hondo Prep from the start of the playoffs, and we all, it's kind of the same things. Like, I'm not picking against them. Well, I'm not picking against them. I'm not going to say it. It'll be interesting this week where we go with our picks. But yeah, you've made a believer. Speaking for all those guys on the show that we do on Wednesday nights, you definitely make a believer out of all of us. And just based off comments and on X and Instagram and stuff, it just all over. I just now the next level we need to get to is the local teams scheduling you guys. That's
yes.
That's the only thing that's left is really like if you guys have taken the little brother. That has to be gone. The small school, that has to be gone. You guys can play with anybody. And so I want to see, some of these local teams schedule you guys. Apparently, I understood Covina tried to schedule you guys. I guess there was a scheduling conflict. Well, there's one. So now let's see, some of these other teams step up and let's get you guys just in the regular SBB top school conversation.
Oh man, I want to see Rio Hondo at Covina District Field. I want to see him at Citrus College. I want to, we want to see these games. A lot of times the teams don't have anything to gain from it, but it's kind of like, all right, well, let's just get a good game then. Like, let's just throw the excuses out the window. Small school, nothing to gain. Is it a warm-up game? Is it a challenge game? Whatever it is, it's a football game. Let's play it. And so I think Coach Carson is game. Maybe not, 10 of those things, but we got to get on that side of the 605 and play some consistent public schools, I think, because it's tough driving all over the place for some of these games, and scheduling is tough, man. Even people who say in public, on a microphone, maybe, we'll play them, and then all of a sudden, they backpedal a little. So
they don't answer the phone all of a sudden.
Oh, what happened? Yeah, I'm not calling. So anyway, we try to keep track of all that stuff, but I agree with you. We got to get Rio's now at that level. It's like, all right, let's just play ball.
Absolutely. And you have a relatively young team too, right? I mean, you're losing a couple of guys. I mean, Curtis, you're losing, right? Holcomb, you're losing, but you got quite a few guys coming back for next year, right?
Yeah. What was crazy, Mark, is that 2 years ago with Ryan McCall, it was basically we had a D1 guy and basically a team of freshmen and a couple sophomores here, but it was insane. 2022. I don't know how we went 9-1 or whatever it was, but those guys have developed. And when those guys were sophomores last year, the bulk sophomores to win a championship at Santa Monica was phenomenal. Thinking, man, we got most of these guys another 2 years. This is
Yeah.
awesome. So we got a tough junior class. But I think our seniors still have something to say. Nate Curtis, Josh Curtis, Ivan Takaj, Zach Burrow, those guys. They still got they want a few more games to play in their RHP career.
Yeah, and you've played quite a lot of games in these last 2 years because you won last year and you moved on to the state. You played already 3 extra games this year. I mean, you guys, and I assume during the year you play a lot of people, so these guys all get reps. I obviously when you get to the big games, I'm sure you tighten down that rotation a little bit. But every one of those reps they help moving forward for those younger players. Yeah, another player I was really impressed with. He got a couple of carries towards the end. It was number 12. Was it Shine?
Nathaniel Shine, yes.
Shine, yeah, he looked good too. What year is he?
He's our fourth running back. Yeah, he's the fourth of our four-headed monster. He's a junior. So.
Yeah, so like he looks good, man. He's a big kid, good sized kid. Maybe he looks like he could kind of take over for Holcomb next year as a big back.
Yeah, he's a front runner for that, and he does a heck of a job on the defensive line and the run game as well. It was a funny story with him last year. We played Torrance. We beat Torrance. Tough game at Care Park. He broke his collarbone in week 5 or whatever. And so he's on the sideline standing there for, most of the season. And I remember asking him, so are you going to be able to get back? And this is before we were even in the playoffs. And he said, semifinals. Basically like, oh, okay. So you're thinking we're going to make a run. Well, he gets back to the semifinals. I don't know if it was like third or fourth play of the game. Coach puts him in. His first carry, he goes 30 yards for a touchdown. So that was cool after 7 weeks in a sling.
Yeah, wow.
And then Nathaniel Shine, on the final play of the championship game, the 2-point conversion, he's the one that knocks down the potentially game-tying pass that makes us CIF champs. So
wow, yeah.
That's the kind of player we have there.
Yeah, and he was just a sophomore at the time. He's a junior this year, and then just sky's the limit for him next year. What a great program. They just keep play because I mean it's good for you guys because some schools maybe they have a little more depth. They don't have the luxury of being able to play these younger guys. You guys really don't have a choice. You guys, hey, you're in. Go do your thing. Yeah. You're in. Right?
You're a freshman. You played 8th grade football last year. Hey, you're in. What do you mean? Yeah, you're in.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. This is so cool, man. This is so cool. Good. What a great program to be part of.
I appreciate it. It's really special, and it's a big reason, to do this podcast, Mark, because it's like this is a story that needs to be told and gotten out there, and it's like, well, let's do something better than other schools are doing. Let's have a show. Let's have interviews. Let's do all that stuff that really promote this thing. And it's just been the feedback has been great because it's like we've been here the whole time. All we're doing is hit and record. This is the real Hondo story. It's a tale as old as time, really.
Right. Yeah, we've literally been here the whole time, and you are. So good times, man. So are we gonna get into this championship game? What do we think?
Let's get into it, man. I will be curious. This will air Thanksgiving morning, but I will be tuning in Wednesday night to these spaces for sure because of all the love we've got from all those guys. I'm not picking against Rio. It's like then we get to the championship like last year and what everybody said. Everyone said, man, this is just too much of a task for Rio. And I think we're going to hear more of that on these predictions. And honestly, I don't blame them, number one. And Mark, number two, I personally, as many other people, we love when people pick against. We love it. So please tell the guys, pick against us. We want to be picked. We don't want to be picked.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, because I'm working late. So Gabriel Duarte, he'll get the show started Wednesday, and then I'll hopefully jump in later with the predictions. But I'm still kind of, I don't know. I was kind of poking around today on X and just kind of, hey, who you got? See what people have to say about the game, and we came up with the fact somebody might write a script for this potential championship game that we're going to sell to Disney, and hopefully we'll get some royalties for. And so I'm still thinking about it. Yeah, I'm thinking out loud. I was like, well, this Warren is a huge school. They got a lot of athletes, but you've faced that before. I mean, personally, I don't think Warren should even be in D7. I mean, they're not a D7 pro. Well, I mean, with the new playoff system, you are who where they stick you, right? So they are a D7 this year because that's where they were placed. But if they don't lose, the quarterback, Mayalava, if they don't lose him and Jace Brown, those two guys are D1 UCLA commits. I mean, they're probably D3, D2 possibly, right? Because that's where they're heading. But they lose those two guys. Now they're dropped to D7, and then as they're trying to run it with a freshman quarterback, but miraculously a senior shows up and mid-season off an SLP, and now they have a quarterback now. So
yeah.
I mean,
it was a miracle. A
right.
guy from Alabama finds Warren High School in Downey.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how that happened. Well, they just, it just worked out. And I looked into that a little bit, but I took a few notes here. Let's see here. Sorry. Jamar Malone, senior quarterback for Warren, played a couple years in Arizona at Higley High School in his sophomore year, led them to a 12-2 record in a state championship. Went to the IMG Academy for some spring and summertime, and then ended up in Daphne, Alabama for his junior season, and then said, well, I want to go back out to the West Coast, right before the middle of the season. So I don't know. Look, this is who we're playing on Friday.
Yeah.
If you could, Mark, speak to that situation and just this whole transfer world we're in now, where kids just move around so much. I can't make any sense of it. What do you think?
It's so hard to keep tabs on stuff. I do also, in addition to the rankings, I do watch lists and stuff like that, right? So like I put out a class of kids to watch for, and it's become difficult because someone I might say in the summer is going to Bonita, for example, and then by the time I release my rankings, the kid's at Charter Oak, or he's at Glendora, or he's at St. John Bosco or something like that. It's so hard to keep track of. I look at transfers like this. From the player's perspective, I have a huge problem with it because I figured every student athlete, high school student athlete, has 4-year window to play high school sports. So if you think you can better your situation, or maybe you're not getting playing time and you don't feel like waiting behind the guy, if maybe you're a quarterback as a sophomore, you don't want to wait, and there's a junior ahead of you, you don't want to wait 2 years to get your opportunity. I get it. If you think there's a better situation, but then go ahead and do it. I don't have a big problem with that. I just wish CIF, and I've been pretty adamant about this too. I just wish CIF would make a universal rule that made it fair for everyone. Because that doesn't seem what happens. People are fudging the paperwork. People are putting bogus addresses, and I've been in favor of like a one-time transfer policy. You can transfer anywhere you want, one time. No sit-out period, no nothing. You can leave one day and be eligible the next day, one time. Use it wisely, right? Yeah. If you want to do a second one, then you automatic SOP on your second transfer, and then after that you're just out for a year on your third ride, because it's like, come on, enough is enough. Because what I've found in certain instances of transfers is, a player doesn't like it at one particular school, and his parents just happen to have the financial means to pick up and buy another house or rent an apartment in the new school district, and they become completely eligible. But like as Coach Maxey has said on our Wednesday Night Spaces, but when Ray from the Hood transfers to a different school, now everybody's got a problem with it, because people figure, oh well, he didn't move. It's like, and maybe he didn't. So like they put themselves in the position of having to put incorrect paperwork, and it just creates just a sticky mess. I would just like to see it fair for everyone, not just the rich kid who's able to do it legally, or or what I mean. That's my big issue with it. I don't mind transfers. Charter Oak has gotten their fair share of transfers. So we all know that. We're not hiding that. So, let's just make it like kind of fair for everyone. That's what I'd like to see. And certain kids that get denied, certain kids that get accepted, when things aren't on the up and up. I'd like to see all that cleaned up. And definitely this late in the season, like what the guy who just came eligible for Warren, like this late in the season, like there was a well, player, I forget his name, but the St. John Bosco's quarterback transfers to school in Hawaii, and he's eligible the next day. Like the next day, he's playing for the new team in Hawaii. You know, it's like that stuff is just weird to me. Like I don't like
Yeah.
I definitely don't like mid-season transfers.
No, no, we agree it's got to be cleaned up. And I agree with you that there are occasions where transfers are necessary or whatever. But I think we can agree that playing in three different states in
Oh
in
yeah,
4 years is a little shady. Now, I don't know Mr. Malone's family, perhaps there should be some exceptions for maybe parents who are military or something
yeah,
like that who move around a lot. Absolutely, I support that. But yeah, it just doesn't seem like anything is spirit of the law, letter of the law. It's everyone's bending the rules a little bit, competing, as they like to say.
right.
And I don't know. It's just it's messy out there.
And from what I understand, like a lot of states don't even have any like transfer issues. I mean, it's like you just transfer, like no big
Mm.
deal. I know Texas, from what I understand, is really big on transfers. You can't transfer. So but they don't have the public school. It's all public schools there. But
Yeah.
but people just miraculously. Is it just coincidence that some of the best players just happen to be in the same high school, like in that district? No,
Yeah,
it's not. They
it's
moved there.
interesting.
It's obviously they obviously moved there, right, to play. But I mean, at least they legally actually have to move. But that's happening there too. There's ways to get around it. But yeah, you're right. State to state to state, and then the same season. It's like, come on, man. Enough is enough. Like I said, I'm all for the movement for certain reasons. But yeah, it's enough. Enough is enough. Like especially the mid season stuff is what really gets me.
Yeah, that's really shady. I mean, for sure. And yeah, the as you mentioned, the boards of players who are going where it gets weird, and it's like, wait, who's this new player? And it's not just like we talk
Yeah,
about Real Hondo all the time. Like Real Hondo, I think this is again an advantage for Real Hondo is you get the continuity of there's not a whole lot of changes. We've had guys leave for sure. That's always happened. And we have had guys come in, but it's not a lot. Caden Holcomb, he came in his junior year, but again, it's rare. It's
mm,
not the norm because when kids come to Rio, it's okay. You want to come here? These are all the things we're doing. There's no special treatment and all that. So transfers happen everywhere, even with us. It just seems like on such a bigger scale with some of
yeah.
these other schools out there.
And I'm on top of this stuff, like because I do the watch list. Like I'm keeping it. I report some of these transfers myself. Like I'll like post on them, and even I'm like I cannot keep up. Like there's certain people that I don't even realize till after I put out my watch list and I see them in the. Bonita just had a transfer that the young man was at Diamond Ranch. He was on my watch list as a junior. I didn't even know, like that one slipped under the cracks. Where until like we played him, like I think I watched a game or two of Bonita, and I was like, "Hey, that's I don't want to say his name, but that's so and so. He was just at Diamond Rats, and that one completely slipped through the cracks, like 5-6 games into the season. So that's just how massive these things are,
Wow.
and how out of control it is. But yeah, I don't even know what to do. It would be up to CIF, and from what I understand, CIF doesn't make the rules. They don't have the manpower to enforce them. So it's basically up to like, unfortunately, for someone to get denied, someone will have had to drop a dime on them. You know what I mean? Someone will have had to
Yeah.
report it or because they're not doing this, they're not investigating this stuff on their own. So people are sending information, and then maybe they might go investigate it. But I don't, I don't know what to do, but I just keep up as best
Yeah.
I can, and it's like that's again credit to Real Honda Prep. Like you said, you guys don't do transfers. You get the kids, you foster them in your system. They're obviously there for other reasons. Sports just happen to be part of what they're there, part of the program when they get there, and what they've worked themselves up from the youth system, and
Yeah.
that's it's yeah. So they're refreshing. Real Honda Prep is very refreshing in
We're
that aspect.
refreshing. That's what we want to be, Mark. We want to be refreshing. We want to be different. Matter of fact, that's a big thing with the cares. It's not just the cares are a lot of care youth league kids, so that's natural. But the care mascot, if you will, it's not a mascot. It's our students. It's that we care about the things of
Mm.
God. We care about our families. We care about each other, and we spell it with a K because we're different. We are different. You can't look at us and be like these guys are. We are different, and so that's a reason for a lot of those things. And this alumni is really proud of all that, and I'm assuming, yeah, you saw that last Friday night with my battle cry is we may have 71 students, but we have a bigger alumni presence to me than anybody out there because I don't know, it just seems like it matters more to us.
Yeah, I mean, and you could see it. You could see it everywhere, just with the comments on different posts I do, and it seems like all the people I've come across, like I mentioned, Jonathan Guerrero, his dad David, like like they were all there that night. Everybody
Yep.
was there. Like everybody I've interacted that has anything to do with Rio Honda Prep was there that night, and I met him, and it's it's just gonna keep going. It's gonna keep going with the next group of people, and however the side I keep doing this and keep interacting on Twitter X, I'm going to see the same thing years from now. Yeah, it's just it's really cool. It's really cool with what's going on over there at Rio Honda Prep.
Well, the game
And
of oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Is there a max of students you guys will take? I mean, or is it in that 100 student range for a reason? Or if there was an influx of students, would you go to 200-300? Is it? I mean, is there like a cap?
I think I mean, everything's a work in progress, but I think when you take into account the faculty size, still having that student faculty relationship, I think there's interest in growing. Truth be told, it's not like we get a ton of applications. I don't think it'd be great to talk to Vice Principal Ixta about some of these things. I've talked to him and Coach Carson. There is an interest in growing for sure, but also not getting too big where we kind of lose the Rio Hondo experience, right? Because that's all very important, the curriculum and everything. So it's kind of a push pull, if you will, really, with the enrollment.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of wondering, and I'm surprised it just took me this long to bring it up because that's something I've been thinking about. I was like, well, because it seems like you kind of hover in that range, so that makes sense. You don't want to grow too big too fast because I mean the more success you get, obviously I would think the more interest there is in the school.
Yeah.
That would just make sense to me. So you would think that those numbers would start to climb, but again, maybe probably slowly, incrementally, I would imagine.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. And there's many other things our school does, but football I think is at the top of it. And so yeah, we'll see how it goes over the years. If we can expand the campus a little bit there at the end of the Arcadia cul-de-sac, and see if we can grow it there a little bit too. You've seen Care Park, so you kind of know that space is always kind of limited too. So
Yeah.
about the game Friday, Mark, Division 7 championship against Warren. I can't believe I'm saying those words, but we are.
I know.
We're up against it. They're 6-7. They were 3-7. We know the story. I think everyone in their right frame of mind, probably it doesn't have any connection to Rio, probably picks Warren. And yeah, I totally get that. We're playing a Division 3 level team, 3,600 enrollment school with our 120. But I will say this, Mark, this is all I will say. I think we are going to surprise some people Friday night with how competitive this game is.
Yeah, and like I told you, I was kind of putting fillers out, and someone had said, oh, Warren is just it's too much. I think it's kind of the road is going to come to an end for Rio Honda Prep, and I said, well, possibly. I mean, it's going to be a tall task. I mean, no doubt for any team, like for any team
Yeah.
in Division 7, Warren's going to be a tough team for any team in that division. But Warren, Rio Honda Prep is going to present some problems for Warren as well. I really don't know if they're going to see the type of execution that they're going to see from Rio Honda Prep. From what my understanding is, I could be terribly wrong, and someone will correct me later when they hear this. But I don't know Warren to be the most disciplined team. If you're undisciplined and you're playing a team like that's what Rio Honda Prep feeds on. If you're undisciplined, we're going to take advantage of that. And with your execution, with your system, with the way the kids run the ball, and everything. So I think that Rio Honda Prep is going to create a lot of problems. I think they're going to create a lot of problems, especially early. With what they're going to do, and if they can play keep away from Warren. Which is probably what's most likely going to have to do, probably play keep away and do what you do, like go for it on fourth downs and pull out all the stops. Like, it wouldn't be anything new to you because that's just what you do. And if you're able to do all those things, I see Warren having a really hard time. I think they're gonna be frustrated in the first half. I think you guys are gonna be right there in the game first half. I think Warren's going to have to go in and see and we'll see if they're able to make the adjustments. If the coaches are able to make the adjustments and the players are able to execute those adjustments, it'd be hard, for someone to pick against Warren, but in this situation. But if you guys can keep it close, keep chipping away, keep keep burning the clock, and I don't know. I think you guys are going to give them all they can handle, and I personally think I'm not going to give my pick yet. Because I really honestly don't know yet. But I can see this coming down to a last possession game. I really do. I think you guys are going to hang with them before you know it. That's what you guys do. Before you know it, Warren's like, you're in the second quarter, you guys are right there. Third quarter, you guys are right there. Fourth quarter, 7 minutes of the game, you guys are right there. And it comes down to just execution and last possession game. That's where I'm sitting right now with this right now. I'm saying this has come down to a last possession game. Probably Warren has the ball. Can Rio Honda Prep come up with the stop? That's what I'm thinking right now in my head.
That's similar to what happened in 2021. It's similar to what happened in last year's finals. We've read this book before. We've read this script before. And I agree with you. I think I will say this, Mark, we don't have much margin for error. We cannot turn the ball over. We've turned it over a little bit in the playoffs here. We cannot have, penalties, a lot of hurtful penalties. We can't miss tackles. We don't have much margin for the kids and the coaches. They're well aware of this. And so I do know this, this game means so much to so many people. And this is coming off of a miracle win in last year's championship, but it's kind of like, all right, you turn the page and the next mountain, here we go. And this game means so much to so many people. If you come out to this game, and not just you, but anybody comes out to this game at Arcadia High School Friday night, you will not be disappointed in what you see. I can promise you that.
Yeah, and absolutely, and I hope people do. Like, we'll start once this aired. We'll start getting stuff out. I'm gonna, I already retweeted Coach Carson's post with the the graphic for the game. So I hope people do. I really hope people. You're right. You will not be disappointed. I was not disappointed. I'm glad I got out there. If I wasn't probably going to be working late Friday, I would be out there again. So I really hope people do. But I just think it's tough. It's tough. I want not only rooting for you guys. I root for the whole San Gabriel Valley against any outside San Gabriel Valley opponent. And win or lose, just so you know, like every player on that team, every coach, you who support all the supporters, you will have nothing to hang your head about. To even be in this game is really impressive. Really
it's impressive. A testament. It's a testament to the kids, the program, and you know what? If there was a time, it was kind of like we wanted to be the team, give us a chance in the SGV. Now we want to be one of the premier programs. We want to be. We want to not own it, but like, hey, when you think of SGV, we want to be at the top of that list. That's must see TV or whatever the case is. So, Mark, I really appreciate you coming on late at night here after a long work day and an early start. If you would, just your final thoughts on Rio Hondo Prep, the program, just your overall thoughts really on the program, kind of where we've come, and just kind of you said it all really, but just your final thoughts on Rio going into this championship game.
Just going into the championship game, I think I think your coaches have done a fantastic job preparing them. I think they always have done a great job ever since the initial time I saw you guys in 2021. I was impressed then. You guys have just gotten better and better and better. You keep finding a way to dispel all what the previous thoughts of what people had, like a small school. You're probably still going to have that a little bit but people are going to use that excuse not to play you. But but I mean, you guys are there. You guys put yourself. You've demanded that you be put on the map. A better way of saying it is like, we haven't put you on there. You guys demanded to be put on the San Gabriel Valley map and amongst the best teams in this area, or all around, basically all of the CIF Southern section. So big fan. I'm surprised that the enrollment has just go up and up and up. That's one thing I was wondering about, and I'm glad you kind of we did talk about that They don't want to go too fast because I was like, man, this enrollment should be up just based on off the success you guys have had here. But overall, fantastic program. Uh, Coaches are outstanding coaches. Kids play with heart, like just amazing how tough these kids are. The strength and conditioning program to keep these young men all healthy, and I think you guys are going to go out and give Warren everything they can handle, and I think the program is in a great place right now.
Well, thank you so much, Mark the Shark. Check him out on Twitter, on Instagram, for his expertise. Don't give him too much grief when he's wrong, because we're all wrong a time or two. He's putting himself out there with those rankings. And I'll say this, Mark: respect is always earned, never given. And I am pleased that we have earned your respect as well as other people, because we don't want it given to us at all. It is Real Hondo. We earn everything we get.
Yeah, you take it, like I say, you're taking it. You're not taking it.
Yeah.
No one's giving you anything. You're taking it.
Let's go.
You're taking
Let's
it,
go.
and that's the way to do it. So I just really appreciate you having me on. A big fan of the show. And as you know, I had to come with a little LA love because you had Chris Moore on last week, and he's a Padre guy. So I had equal time. I had to come back with the world champion Los Angeles Dodgers representation. So
right at him.
So yeah, just appreciate having me on. Great time, great show, and happy Thanksgiving, and good luck Friday night.
Happy Thanksgiving to you. I appreciate it, Mark. And yes, everyone loved Coach's interview last week. I think they're going to really enjoy this one. Happy Thanksgiving to all. Make sure you ship with FedEx Express, not those UPS guys. And hey, we'll be seeing you real soon. We'll be in touch through social media for sure, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks, Mark. Talk to you soon.
All right.
Well, it's always a pleasure bringing on an outside voice, we'll say, an outside viewer, whether it's a member of the media or someone who does some rankings and watch lists. Mark the Shark does a great job working, with local San Gabriel Valley football. As I mentioned, he's appeared on different podcasts and things like that, and radio programs to kind of give that SGV perspective. And I know a lot of us are like, well, what is he talking about? But hey, it takes a little courage to get in front of the mic or to post things on social media. And I've grown through it over the years, and just kind of, putting Rio out there a little bit more. So appreciate that perspective, honesty, and just that's what we want here, man. We talk to Rio alums all the time, and it's fun to just kind of see, okay, is what we are doing, is it shining bright enough for people to see it? And I think, as you heard from Mark Herrera there, that it is. It's making an impact. And again, that's why we continue to do the Charge to Keep podcast here, because man, we got the best football program around. I challenge anyone else to say otherwise. So Real Hondo Prep hosting the Warren Bears on Friday night at 7 p.m. I know that interview went a little long there, but we'll try to wrap things up. I do have a few more things to get to. It's the championship. It's Thanksgiving morning when you guys are listening to this, or afternoon or whatever. So plenty more to talk about, as it could be the final pregame show of the season, although I personally don't want to stop doing this. So let's see if we can have a solution for that. But before I get to a few things about the game, I do want to just a few fun facts about Warren High School in Downey, California. Enrollment for 3635 has been publicized greatly. 3,635 students. We have about 120. 71 of those are boys. So that is quite fun. To go up against and such. But hey, it's just the new age we are in football. You can complain about it, or and then go on and lose, or you can try hard, compete, fight, and embrace the challenge. So founded in 1956, it is named after Earl Warren, who was governor of California from 1943 to 1953, and then immediately became the Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court from 1953 to 1969. One of the California's most beloved governors, popular governors, I should say. Let's see. He was the last justice, I found this interesting, to serve an elected position before then being a Supreme Court justice. So that's rather cool, unique, or whatever. The school is blue and gold, courtesy of the California colors, and then also the Bears after the California state animal. So this Warren High School, named after, again, Chief Justice Earl Warren. who headed up the Warren Commission, the whole JFK assassination thing there. So the investigation. So there's a lot of that going on there. Just wanted to throw that out to you guys briefly. Some fun facts about the Warren High School, since they are coming to town, and at Arcadia High School specifically. And again, with Arcadia High School, I know it's maybe not the venue some of us wanted. It is the place of this battle. It is the place of this war with Warren. So get behind it. We don't care about the Division 7. We don't care about how many students, the kids in the school we're playing. We care about playing the football game and getting to the game early and cheering and being there for our team. Wipe out the distractions. Lock in, focus. It's time to play a championship football game. 48 minutes in Arcadia, California, right up the road from where so many Rio Hondo championships were won there at 5150 Farna Avenue. I've been told the gates will open at 5:30 on Friday for the 7 o'clock kickoff. So get there early if at all possible. I don't know how many people are working the day after Thanksgiving, but you do want to get there early. 5:30, the gates open. The teams will be out there warming up and everything well before that. So 5:30, get your seat. A pretty good bleacher on the home side. There should be plenty of room, standing room on the sidelines. I know that'll be packed. So we'll pack it in nicely there. I've been told there will be no concessions for this game. Again, it is Arcadia High School. I don't think they have staff. And I think our staff, I don't know the reason why, probably the last minute thing and just kind of, hey, who wants to be running the snack bar when you could be watching a great football game? At least that's my opinion. So no concessions. So eat your food before, and then we'll get something afterwards for sure. But just plan that way accordingly. Get there early. Can't say that enough. We want to pack that place for the boys while we're warming up. So no concessions. I do want to make a comment right now to those of you that will be on the sideline during the game. Coach Carson loves having alumni out there during the football games, especially the playoffs. He loves, the enthusiasm, the support. This is coming from him. He didn't ask me to do this, but I want to relay it to you guys. He wants to make sure he's adamant, and this honestly, from an administration standpoint as well, and just being Rio Hondo Prep cares, how we carry ourselves. That's how we can control ourselves. If you're going to be down on the sideline, it has been requested, however you want to say it, not lectured, but yes, requested. A request is good enough. If you're going to be down there, plenty of enthusiasm. This hasn't been an issue, but we're just throwing it out there. Preventative officiating, as we used to call it back when I refereed, talking about preventing things before they happen. We want total support for our guys. We don't want any actions, verbally or body language, whatever, directed at the other team or the officials. There should be one voice down there communicating with the officials, and that is head coach Mark Carson. Okay. Occasionally I will talk to an official or something about a rules reference thing, but it is in a calm manner. And that is kind of honestly an unofficial position that Coach Carson has had me down there for just another reason. So just cards on the table there. I have gotten in trouble from Coach Carson before. I'm not just telling you guys this, telling you something. In last year's championship game, I knew someone on the crew. I knew the white hat from a prior just the officiating world, we'll say. And I was barking out at him, yelling at him because it was loud, and I didn't think he heard me. And I had a concern. And Coach Carson was like, hey, Matt, what are you doing? I'm like, they can't do that or whatever. And he was like, okay, but it's got to come from me. Like, we don't need a penalty. And so I saw it in his eyes that night. I understood. And I was like, yeah, you're right. That's not my place. So this is to everyone out there. We're down there on the field. We're cheering on our boys. It will be with 100% class, 100% directed at our guys, cheering them on. All right. That's what they deserve. And I know competition gets heated. We're in the heat of the battle. I've been there. Trust me. I've been on all sides of it. But it is not our job down there to be lecturing the officials or taunting the other team or anything like that. And I'm not saying that we are just throwing it out there because when emotions rise, intelligence runs lower in general, not with our fans, but hey, just putting it out there, guys. So 100% positivity if you're going to be down on the sideline and in the stands as well, but more of a concern down there on the field because I think we're going to have a lot of people down there on the sidelines. And remember, the team box is the 25 to 25. So give the officials space too, even though this is a thing, and the field should be well marked and we have plenty of room. Let's remain well off the sideline, not just the 6, give those guys plenty of room because when a run comes over to the sideline, it gets very small very quickly. So I want our officials from our fans to not feel threatened by any means. Just give them space. Let's play back up. All right. You can see just as much from standing here as 3 steps forward. Trust me. Okay. Just back up. Let's give our guys space. The team box, that's their thing. They'll give those guys space. But anyone down there, photographers, everyone, plenty of space, no directions at the other team and the officials. I think I've made myself clear on that one. Okay. That is my communication with our amazing fans out there. And again, just trying to stay ahead of things because it's going to be heated. It's going to be highly contested. And we just want to do the right thing. Remember that we are the real Hondo Prep Cares in everything that we do. I talked about playing classy, and that's what we want to do. All right. That's my 2 cents on that. I mentioned the no concessions. I mentioned a few other things about the game. Parking, I'm not totally sure. So let's, again, get there early to figure it all out. I haven't been to Arcadia High, I think, ever for a football game. And Real Hondo, of course, took down Arcadia back in 2012. That week 0 game over the Apaches where Rio dominated them in one of Rio's first big public school takedowns, if you will. But that was a long, long time ago. So let's take care of Arcadia High School as they have been so gracious to offer up this venue for us. So let's be respectful. And again, I don't need to tell you guys that. Care Class is out there and exists for a reason. So a few things I wanted to do about Warren. I mentioned them there. I want to mention a message I got from Coach Golar that kind of struck with me. And I'm going to go to a few fan things here as well. I know we've been going long, but that's just how the show is going to go today with the CIF Championship pregame show. I got a message from Coach Golar, who a lot of our guys have trained with, right, throughout the past few years, especially last year with the playoffs. Yeah, the great run we went on. I know Noah's over there, Caden's over there, the Curtis brothers. I mean, too many guys to name. A lot of guys put work in with Coach Golar, and he does great work. Ryan McCullough comes down. He still works out with them. So something to take note of. Coach Golar, a former Care Youth League member, I believe, at one point as well. He sent me a nice long message that I wanted to touch base on here. Coach Golar said, "Remember, I told you the goal was back-to-back plus a state championship this year. But first things first, we need to beat Warren. I told them that they have 3 things that separate them from everyone else. First is great coaching. Second, the brotherhood that they have is unmatched anywhere. Third, between all of them, the thousands of hours they have put in training with me, trust me, as a team, I guarantee you, no team has put in that much extra work plus the quality pro training that they got from me. They are the best team in all of the SGV. I'm so proud of them, and I truly feel blessed that their parents trusted me to train them. I feel honored even being a part of something so special. I have learned so much from them." Well, thank you, Coach Goller, for that message. We appreciate your hard work with our guys and for our guys putting in the extra work. Coach Carson doesn't ask them to do these things. They want to get better. They want to compete. They want to play in Division 7 championship games. These guys have raised the bar of Real Hondo football in so many ways. Our coaches have as well. They've been phenomenal. They get every drop of everything out of our guys on a weekly basis, and it's incredible, man. It is so incredible. And I really hope you guys appreciate this. I know many of you come out to the games and show support. I just, every now and then you got to stop and soak it in. And just here on Thanksgiving, man, it is so great. I am so thankful to be a part of Real Hondo Prep football. I always have been, but I guess for a lot of people, a lot of peers, like, we didn't realize how much until a couple years ago. And sure, I know the podcast is a big part of that. I'll take some credit there, but it's about all of us. It's about what these kids do and how they represent us. The pride that we feel when they do these things with the helmets on. It means more. It just means more. And so to those players, I say thank you on this Thanksgiving. Thank you for giving us hope. Thank you for giving us something to cheer for and to dream a little bit as well. As most of us, we're all adults and we've moved on and through our jobs and lives and families and things. But so maybe the daily grind of life, sometimes we forget to dream and dream big. And it's fun to live through you guys and see that. I remember that. I remember when I played. I remember, taking that walk. Man, these guys give me hope. These give me so much joy. So thank you to the players. There's so many thank yous to go around with the families and everybody, but man, you guys, what you have done is nothing short of miracle. of a miracle. And I said it earlier, nobody plays harder, nobody plays smarter, nobody plays tougher, nobody plays classier. That is who we are. Always remember that. And I said it before in the playoffs, and I'll say it again because I think it's really relevant for this Friday. Nobody intimidates us. You boys don't worry about anything. You have an army there for you and with you. Every snap, we are with you. Our hearts. It's going to be fun. You guys just play loose and fast and let her rip. Let us be the ones who are, biting our fingernails and nervous and full of tension. Let us be the ones to worry. You guys go have fun, man. You get to play a championship. You get an opportunity of a lifetime to go back to back. Can you imagine if you're on both of these teams from last year and this year? The stories, the memories. You already have a ton of those. And win or lose, you're going to have so many of those that you will cherish forever. But we're there to win. The goal is to win. And I know it's cliche, but I just know you guys are going to make us proud. I've been so proud to walk around and tell people about the podcast and Rio Hondo football and how different we are. And as soon as people start throwing out the cliche, oh, you guys just recruited. Oh, yeah, 100 kids. I'm like, all right, you don't get it. You don't get it. And you know what? That's fine. And to the doubters out there, yeah, I know Warren's supposed to beat us. I know it. But man, 2021, you were surprised over Charter Oak. 2023, surprised again. There's no way they could beat Santa Monica. I guess my question is, when are you going to stop being surprised? Will it take a victory over Warren? Just a hard-fought, close game? Maybe. Maybe. I can't wait. It's almost here, and I've been thinking about this all day, what I was going to say, just the different things. And so I thought we'd have a little fun here on one of the busiest travel days of the year, or, as it's now Thanksgiving, but we're recording, a few nights before Thanksgiving, of course. I thought we'd open up the phone lines, if you will. Oh, man. Sorry, almost a little early there. I thought we'd open up the phone lines to a few of the real faithful out there to see what they had to say about the upcoming game with our Real Hondo Prep Cares. Just to, it's not something we do often here. So, let's do something a little different. Let's go to the phone lines and see who's out there, wants to call in the show and say what they have to say. I believe, oh, man, the lines are already lit up. That was extremely fast. Wouldn't you know it, man? I guess people were listening with the big anticipation here. So let's go to the phone lines. Let's start. Who do we start off? Line one from Duarte, California. Looks like Paul Clark is chiming in here from Duarte. Hi, Paul. You're on the Charge to Keep podcast. What are you thinking about the big game this Friday? Whoop. Paul, we don't hear you. Paul, we don't hear you. Try again. Paul, are you going through a tunnel? Paul, try again. Little static. Okay, you got me? All right, let's try it again. Here we go, Paul. You're back on the air.
Hey, what's going on, Rio Hondo Prep Football? This is Paul Clark. We are the Clarks.
Brenda.
And Peyton Clark.
And we just wanted to wish you guys good luck this Friday. Going against Warren, we want you to go out there and show them what cloth we're cut from. We are Rio Hondo Prep, right, guys?
Yeah.
What do you got to say, Peyton?
Yeah, go beat Warren.
Nima?
Go beat Warren.
On three. Let's say go beat Warren on three. 1, 2, 3. Go beat Warren!
Love it. Love it. Paul Clark, thank you for calling into the Charge to Keep podcast. That was phenomenal. And Mrs. Brenda Clark, guys, I talk all the time about, for the parents and families to stick around and to, still support this team, even when their kids are moved on. And I remember, Mrs. Clark, her kids haven't been around Rio, Paul, and Pete Clark for a long time as far as competing goes. So she's someone that has just been a fixture in the stands. I remember playing, specifically basketball at Rio. We'd enter the gym. We'd always see Mrs. Clark up there with the Miyake family as well. And so Mrs. Clark, a proud Rio fan over the decades. Thank you for your support. Paul, of course, there on the sidelines. And Peyton Clark, we're going to be looking for you real soon in the near future. Some of the future of Rio Hondo Prep football there. Going to have a big time career after, I think, a recent Care Youth League championship there at Wingate Park. I missed that place. A lot of fun times playing football there. So, man, a little past, present, future there, I guess you could say, with the great things Paul does for the alumni and Mrs. Clark, of course, she's been fantastic. And man, what a special group. Thanks for calling in, guys. All right, let's go to line 2, and the lines will be opening up. So be sure to try to call in. If you get on hold, just keep on trying. This next call looks like international. We got a call coming in from Peru. Wow, I'm really curious to take this one. Okay, this is Freddie on the line coming in from Peru International. We don't make much money on this podcast, so this could be an expensive call, but we'll take it anyway. It is championship week. Freddie from Peru. Yes, what do you have to say?
What's up, fellas? Fred Monteblanco here, class of 05. Just want to wish you guys good luck for the championship game. You guys have an opportunity here to do something very special. You guys are well coached, well conditioned. You guys have the tools needed to get the job done. One more game, guys. That's it. One more game. Make us proud. It don't matter how big, how fast they are. Play Rio Hondo Prep football. Fast and loose, baby. Let's go.
You got that right, Fred. You got that. Thanks for calling. We had to hang up, Fred, because it was costing us $38.48 a second on that international call, and quite frankly, we used all that money to help rent out Arcadia High. So sorry, Fred. Had to cut you off, but thank you for your support all the way from Peru. That's pretty special. And Fred Monteblanco from the class of 05, as he mentioned, Fred was as tough as nails. One of the toughest football players I could say in RHP history. Was a senior when my brother was a junior. Played in that 04 championship game. Like we mentioned that 04 game against Linfield Christian and Coach Four a couple weeks ago. And Fred was on that team. Strong safety, filled in at O-line. Was just a guy that was going to do whatever it took to be successful. And kind of, when I see a lot of players out there, I see a lot of Fred Monteblanco types with the teams in the past few years. So thank you so much, Fred Monteblanco. Appreciate the phone call there. Let's see. We're going line 3. It says Rick in La Puente. La Puente, is that a school district that he's calling in from? Rick from La Puente. Yes, you're on the air.
Hey guys, Coach Johnson here, RHP class of 91. I coached several of you in 4th grade on the Bulldogs and coached against many of you at that same time. I'm excited to see your growth individually and how you guys have matured as a team. I want to read a quote from Coach Wooden. We don't have to be superstars or win championships to reach competitive greatness. All we have to do is learn to rise to every occasion, give our best effort, and make those around us better as we do it. It's not about winning, it's about learning to give all we have to give. So Friday night, give your all. We're super proud of you. I'm glad I get to do change one more time. Go Rio.
Thanks so much, Rick. I guess, he lives in Arcadia, but works the school district there in La Puente, or for La Puente School District. So he's probably not far from where I work on a daily basis. Got to maybe meet up with him sometime. Thank you so much for that. Rick Johnson, one of the guys on our chain crew that, again, gets to work one more game in the championship there at Arcadia High School. So a lot of fun there. And fun fact is, we brought up the Charter Oak game, a few years ago. Remember, Charter Oak home game, they couldn't put together a chain crew. I should have brought that up with Coach Mark there, or Mark the Shark. And it was Rick and our entire chain crew that said, yeah, let's go do our chains. And luckily they were on the visiting side, which was our side that night. So a fun memory for that chain crew. Thank you for your support and all that you do, Rick. Okay, wait a minute. What is this? Berkeley, California on line 4. I think we know who this is. Ryan in Berkeley. Yes, go ahead. You're on the air.
Ron McCullough, class of 2023. Want to wish all boys good luck this weekend. Feel like we have a really special group of guys. Feel like we can go back to back. I think it'll be a good challenge for us. And play hard, play physical. Good luck this week.
Thank you, Ryan McCullough, your defensive end for the Cal Bears up there in Berkeley. We saw him a few weeks back as they had a tough loss to Miami, but Ryan's a big-time supporter of his guys. He played with most of these guys, his senior year. So Ryan will be watching closely, I'm sure. Thanks for, calling the show all the way from Berkeley, Ryan. That was really, really cool. Appreciate that. Let's see. Let's keep the phone lines going here. Okay, we have Dave in Upland. I'm just trying to get as many calls in as possible, guys, before we got to get hit with ads and all those things. So let's see. We have Dave in Upland, California. Let's hear what he has to say.
What's going on, fellas? It's been an absolute pleasure watching you guys from the sidelines this past season. You have done some things that I could only dream about back in the 90s when I played. You guys are simply amazing. I'm so proud of everything that you have accomplished, and I truly believe that there is still more to come. So the alumni, the Rio Hondo faithful, we are behind you. We're going to show you that this Friday when you play against Warren. And I'm a believer. I believe that you guys are going to once again shock the world and show them and show everyone what being a Rio Hondo man is all about. So good luck. Again, we are with you, and I'll be there. You can count on that.
David Diaz calling the podcast. Appreciate that, Dave. Upland, California. Dave, you'll see him on the sideline, of course, at games. His daughter Sydney graduated just last year. Dave is a fixture for the program the past few years and a great football player himself in the 90s. He had a great podcast with him episode last year. So, Dave Diaz, thank you for that phone call. That is very well said. I think these Rio Hondo men are going to show the world what Rio Hondo football is about, man. You guys are starting to get me all jacked up even more than I was earlier today. So this is great, man. We should do this more often with the phone lines. I had to, connect a few dots here or wires or whatever it is. But man, while things are still working, let's keep hearing from the alumni out there placing phone calls. Appreciate all you guys. And thank you for waiting. Let's see. We have Dave from Victorville. Sorry, you've been on hold a long time, Dave. I appreciate you hanging in there. It says here, your first time, but a long time.
What up, Rio Hondo Prep fam? It's championship week. Just want to shout out to the varsity boys. You're stepping on the battlefield on Friday for what might be the last time. Every single one of us alumni knows exactly how that feels. So just remember, treat every play like it might be your last play. Go hard, go strong, just the way Coach Lunny, legendary Coach Lunny, taught us, play like Jesus. Jesus would be out there hitting them as hard as he can and then picking them up. And when you get knocked down hard, you get right back up. Just like Jesus did after 3 days, he got back up. Know that every single one of the alumni is behind you guys. We got your backs from wherever we might be at. And regardless of what happens on Friday when the lights go out, you're in this brotherhood for life. And we welcome you with open arms. Go Prep.
Thank you, Dave. In Victorville, Dave Ramos, with the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department. Thank you, Dave, for those kind words and for, man, stealing the show. Yes, playing like Jesus and rising after he did 3 days. That's pretty phenomenal stuff there, Dave. Thank you very much for that and all that you do out there. We hope to see you and the other members of the Ramos family at the game on Friday night. But you can always hear Dave when he's at the game. Let's go Prep. Let's go Prep. He's screaming, and he was near the front of our alumni tunnel yesterday. Let's see. I think we have time for a couple more callers before we wrap up the show. Let's see here. Jordan in South Central Los Angeles. Jordan in South Central. I don't know if you can hear me, but you are on the air.
How's it going, guys? Jordan Ross, class of 2003. First of all, congratulations on your season thus far. Congratulations to Mark Carson and his staff. Really excited for you guys as you play in the highest level of division championship for Rio Hondo Prep. Just want to say good luck on Friday night. We'll be rooting for you. I want to implore you guys to play for each other and keep up the fight. Go Cares, and yeah, good luck.
Good hearing from my old classmate there, Captain Jordan Ross of the LA Fire Department. Very recent pinning ceremony. He is active down there in South Central Los Angeles, ladder 57, I believe. So thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule, fighting fires and leading those brave souls out there to call in the show. One of my favorite teammates, a guy that I went through a lot with on the field. And so, man, it's just great reliving all this stuff and hearing from you the fans out there. This has been phenomenal. We could we should do this again more often if we can orchestrate it, if you know what I mean. Somehow the phone lines, it gets a little hard and technical. Speaking of that, I think we have time for one more call before we wrap it up. Let me check the phone lines here. We might have to, I don't know. We're having a tough time, a tough connection. Let's see if we can fix this real quick. All right, I think we have the phone lines back up, although this will probably have to be the final call of the evening. Thank you for those that are trying to get in. I apologize we couldn't take all the calls, but we'll see if we have a show next week where we can hear from more alumni out there. We'll see if we can get a few more phone lines, if you will, as well. So thanks for those who've tuned in. Let's go to our final call of the evening before we wrap up the finals version of the podcast here. Let's see. We're hearing from Mike. It says location is not listed here, TBA or so. So I believe maybe Upland. Anyway, I can't. This chicken scratch writing from our call screener, I can't quite make out, but I think it says Upland. I'm not sure. Mike in Upland, we'll say. Mike, Upland.
Hi guys. Just want to offer my encouragement and support as you complete your historic journey that you're on. I've literally been watching Rio Hondo Prep football for 57 years, and I think this team is one of the greatest, if not the greatest ever. Just know that you have a lot of people who support you, who love you, who will be there for you, and let's finish this. And when you do, remember to do it for His kingdom and by His power and for His glory. Amen.
Mike Murphy, 1977 champion Mike Murphy, I might add, who played in arguably one of the greatest football games of all time there at Care Field, the triple overtime thriller against Montclair Prep, where once again, Rio Hondo was the underdogs. And I think there's been a few games since then that have rivaled that game, most notably last year's 2023 CIF championship game out in Santa Monica, a game we will all remember where we were when that happened. And I hope that the rest of you, that all of us really can make some new memories this Friday night. And if you think back to that game last year, whether you're watching it on television on the NFHS network, or if you had the privilege to be there that night, you know how special that was. And it's been a full year. We're back in the finals with an even bigger and tougher opponent. And that was very well said there, Mike Murphy. Thank you for calling in. Man, there's not much more left to say. We've said it all, really. I've encouraged you guys to get out to this game. I want a massive crowd for our guys. Not just for our guys, but for Rio Hondo. We're not just some small school, or maybe I should post, we're just some small school. Maybe we are, but we have a huge alumni presence. We are one heartbeat. And again, a lot of that is based off of our faith in God, the caring about the things of God, literally why we are the cares. So every step of the way Friday night, it's up to all of us to remember that. And I think if we stick together, stay united, stay focused, something really special could happen on Friday night. To the boys out there, thank you again. Just be you. Just play the game. Just go out there. Enjoy it. It's just a football game. It's one of the biggest opponents Rio's ever had. Don't be fooled by the 3-7 or 6-7 record that they have now after some playoff wins. I didn't really get to Warren here, but most of you know what we're facing. A very tough team, fast, very big up front, very good quarterback in who's transferred around and been at a few schools, but everything starts and goes with him. I think Jamar Malone is his name. I have faith in our offense that we will find ways to move the ball and score. It's just going to be, can we hold on? Can we get an interception, a sack fumble, make some third or fourth down stops? All I know is when our guys put their hand in the ground against anybody, I love our chances. And I know you guys do too. So we'll wrap things up here. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you, Mark the Shark, Mark Herrera, for coming on the show. Thank you to everyone who sent in phone calls. That was wonderful. There's no more wait. I'll say happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there. Hopefully this isn't our last pregame show, but if it is, it has been the privilege and honor of my life to do this once again this season. So Win or lose, we will be back on the weekend to recap the big night at Arcadia High School, the Division 7 CIF Finals against Warren. Let's go, man. Let's go. We can all thank God for that and be thankful for the many things around us. This podcast, the program, Coach Carson, the parents. There's just too many things to thank. But you know what I think? It's all wrapped into one football, one group, one heartbeat. And I'm just so ecstatic and thrilled for this opportunity on Friday to shock some people. And after it happens, if it happens, I believe. Do you believe? After it happens, then what? I guess we'll find out later, right? Well, here we go. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. We'll see you out there at the practice on Thanksgiving morning. This will be released right before then. Hope you guys enjoy your food and fellowship. And then on Friday, championship football. Let's go. Get there early. I want to see Arcadia High School more full than it ever has been before. I want chaos. I want pandemonium for our cares, our guys who are not supposed to be there. Well, let's go wreck a party. Let's go wreck it. With class, of course. But I want chaos. I want pandemonium. Order, of course, on the field, but violence by our boys, legally, with sportsmanship. And to the fans, the challenge is pandemonium. I'm thankful for all of you. Happy Thanksgiving once again. Bring it on Friday. Bring it for our guys. And to the boys, as I have said, the past few weeks in the postseason, fight, fight, fight.
To the freak show.